Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one's entitled, Red Clouds Mean the Earth is Dying, Losing Outer Atmospheric Layer. Now, Planet X is a system of dead stars, planets, and moons which have been invading the solar system for thousands of years. And you may look at Article 367 entitled Planet X Coming in as Comets and Affecting the Earth. Clouds, as I have shown in previous articles, are Planet X debris water. And you may look at Article 529 for more details on that. They are in the form of tiny droplets of liquid water because they are made of water, which is low in gravitational energy and thus remains suspended in the atmosphere until the water has absorbed enough gravitational energy to fall towards the surface as rain. These clouds of Planet X debris water have been coming into the atmosphere for thousands of years, and for thousands of years these clouds have been white or gray only. But now they are often colored, the most prevalent color being red. And here you see some of these clouds. These are very red at the bottom, but different parts of the cloud are in different colors. You see some parts are gray, some clouds are redder than others. These are bright red, these are this dark red. And so these cannot be red due to being illuminated by red light. These have to be clouds that are emitting light, and are thus luminescent clouds. Clouds in the Earth's atmosphere absorb gravitational energy by absorbing free electrons and photons, or light, from the atmosphere. These electrons settle in the water atoms and give off excess energy as photons. So the fact that the clouds are emitting light shows that the electrons being absorbed are of too high an energy for the water molecules. But since this has not occurred until recently and seems to be getting worse, in other words, the skies are getting red all the time, especially at sunset and sunrise, this has to be due to the Earth itself changing. The planet has been losing electrons and gravitational energy for thousands of years and is therefore dying. In other words, it is now in an advanced stage of the slow process of turning into a stellar core, or a dead planet like the Planet X system stellar cores that have been absorbing energy from it for thousands of years. Now, as the Earth loses gravitational energy, we would expect it to have increasing difficulty with the inner proton-dense layer, repelling electrons to the outer layers. This would lead to the highest gravitational energy electrons not reaching the altitude that they once did. In other words, they would be at lower altitudes than before. The clouds would be at the correct altitude for their energy level and lose altitude as they gain gravitational energy. Although we would need to differentiate between clouds which are envelopes for the stellar cores and clouds which have separated from a stellar core, or clouds which surround debris pieces. And here you see some of these clouds. This one is close to being spherical and this one has ring patterns. And both these type of clouds are cloud envelopes for Planet X system stellar cores, and thus have stellar cores within them. And these objects are sources of gravity and will always be repelled by the Earth, as they will never reach the surface. The cloud envelope will, however, eventually break up into pieces and separate from the stellar core once it has gained enough energy and electrons. So for now, all this cloud does is absorb energy, absorb photons, absorb electrons, which it then transfers to the stellar core within it. And until the stellar core has gained a state of energy where it no longer needs the cloud envelope anymore, and then they break up and they become these broken pieces of cloud. So the cloud envelope will eventually break up. The cloud will then gain energy as in this form of cloud, and eventually fall to the Earth as rain. And we also have clouds which form funnels or cloud vortices and have a source of gravity within them, or stellar core, and are thus Planet X system stellar core cloud envelopes as well. And these clouds are usually very dense because the stellar core inside has a proton density, a high proton density, which strongly attracts water molecules. So it becomes quite dense in water molecules, and then it looks dense, as we can see here. Now, stellar cores absorb energy and electrons, as I said before, through the cloud envelope, and thus these will often be colored as well as the one in the above image, this one which looks blue. And this indicates that this cloud envelope was emitting blue light photons as electrons settle inside the water molecules. Clouds are usually white because they absorb light and emit light. They absorb light at all visible light frequencies. In other words, they absorb photons. And they emit light at the same frequencies. Clouds do not just allow light through them, because if they did, they would look transparent since they are made of liquid water. Clouds turn gray when they emit less light, but whatever is emitted is still equally spread through all frequencies. They emit less because the electrons being absorbed are at the right frequency or energy for the energy level they are going into. Clouds would turn red if the electrons are now no longer at the right frequency or energy, but at a higher frequency than what is required by the water molecules. In other words, the electrons being absorbed at this altitude should have been at a much higher altitude, but the Earth's decrease in gravitational energy prevents them from getting to a higher altitude. Since the highest energy electrons determine the edge of the atmosphere, this would have the effect of decreasing the height of the atmosphere, as layers above the highest energy electrons would be too low in gravitational energy for the Earth to hold on to, and they would be lost. In other words, this suggests that the Earth has started losing part of its outer layers. And here you see some different colored skies, which indicate that the Earth is in an advanced state of energy depletion. Notice how the color changes from higher to lower altitude. And this indicates that you have different energy electrons at the different altitudes. So the lightning in the central image, you can see the lightning there, is most likely due to the stellar core debris pieces inside the cloud, or the water molecules themselves having gained electrical potential through absorbing electrons. If the electrical potential difference between the surface and other objects in its environment gets over a certain level, there is a breakdown and electron current flows through the atmosphere between the different objects and the surface, giving rise to the lightning. Thus, red skies and strangely colored clouds are a clear sign that the Earth is dying, and that the process of losing its outer layers has started, and that it has started with the atmosphere. Eventually, the whole atmosphere will be lost, and then the surface layers will start breaking away as well. So in conclusion, red skies, red clouds, or clouds in any color but white and gray are a sign that the Earth is dying, that it is in an advanced state of deterioration, and that the Earth has started losing its outer layers, starting with the upper atmosphere. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.